Oh, the Yugu Day event playmat looks so sick.
Going to locals.
Yeah. Yeah, you're excited.
Say hi. Let's go. Okay, we made it. We have to go get all the stuff.
We put all our stuff in the back.
Yeah, I'm getting it out of the back. We gotta get all stuff quick. Decided to play, I'm gonna try Fairytail Magistus. I'm gonna try to film, but it's new to me locals, and I don't know if people want me filming. Look at my old lady bag. An old lady made me this bag. It's an old lady bag. Also have my game bag. So kind of showed up with snacks, binders. Oh. Okay, ready? I'm ready. This is the slowest zoom in the history of zooms. Karibo deck boxes. Oh my goodness, hi, it's me from the future after playing in this locals. Hope you're enjoying the vlog. I am gonna play these games on like a sped up version and give you my thoughts, remembrances. I will try to upload these videos less edited, unedited later. Anyway, so yeah, went to a new to me locals, drove an hour for this one. I was a little nervous because I had never been to this specific shop. Overall, wonderful, great experience, and not to spoil anything, but your girl got third. Tiebreakers go crazy. So I was playing Fairytail Magistus. I won the dice roll. This is where I learned a very hard lesson about this deck because I normal summoned Match Girl, effect to search. It got impermed, and I was like, well, shit. We're gonna just have to set one and pass. I'm pretty sure the person I'm playing against was playing Power Patron. Also, I say it later, like as I was filming that day, vlog style. Apologies for the video style, like the fact that you can't fully see their playmat. I had to figure out how to get my camera set up because these tables were too thick for the holder that I actually had. And so we put it on a chair, and yeah, long story short, it's not like the best footage, but you can at least kind of tell what's happening. I am not even going to attempt to explain what my opponent is doing because I don't play Art Mage or Power Patron. Definitely trying to build the Art Mage deck. Oh, I did learn something. Oh, sorry, Chorizo. Super Poly Target Chorizo was the star of the day. Shout out to the MVP Chorizo and his best bud Super Poly for being able to clear some boards. Something I did learn in this game is that the Art Mage Fusion, that one on the top left, is a contact fuse. And I didn't know that because he goes to like contact fuse and I was trying to like chain something and it was like, it doesn't start a chain. So, I mean, that's pretty cool that they have a contact fuse. Got back to my turn, which honestly, I don't know if just both of us drew hands that were like stoppable. I mean, I did have the ash. Did I discard the ash off the Super Poly? No, I think I discarded the snow. I was shocked it got back to me considering I normal summoned Match Girl and then the effect got impermed. I don't know how else I could have played around it. I will say that this deck, as fun as it is, and I love it so much, kind of does die to like, depending on what you normal summon. There's not a lot of special summons in the deck, which is why I am running the 2 Incredible Ecclesia. I was playing, like testing last night, or just playing for fun, and I had the Fallen in my hand, and I was like, oh, I can special the Fallen. I'm not playing the Ecclesia Synchro, though. I think that's my biggest issue with this deck is the amount of hard normal summons that you have to do, and the effect of that normal summon has to go off in order for you to do anything, or that monster has to stay on the field. Genni of the Ring is a great one because you can target an opponent's monster to special summon itself, but that requires your opponent to have a monster. Match Girl's great. It can special summon itself from hand or grave if you control a spellcaster with 1850. But if that, if my monster gets bounced back to extra deck or bounced back to hand, I no longer control a monster with 1850. So that's where like the special summons are still pretty weak. I have learned that all it takes for Fairytail to go for game is Fairytail Ball. That is the field spell, which allows you to attack directly. And then 1850 times 4, I believe, is 7,400. Here we are doing the math on that one. And then plus 1,000. I should have known this prior to sitting down for the game, that this would have been game, this would have been lethal damage, but alas, I did not know that, but I quickly found out. So I went ahead and I won game 1. Game 2, my opponent decides to go first. This is the game where I learn that contact fusing does not start a chain. I'm like, chain Fua? And he's like, I'm contact fusing. And I was like, chain Fua? And it was like that, you can't, it doesn't start a chain. I could start my own chain. I was like, okay, on resolution. I guess the lesson for this is if you're playing Archmage, it might be worth shotgunning the Fua. That's something I've been learning myself about, like, when do you shotgun the Fua? When do you not shotgun the Fua? In draw phase, sometimes you want to try to wait for your opponent to do something in order to ensure that you're going to get draws. I did Droll, and I believe it's the trap negated the Droll. Again, I have not read the Archmage cards. I know Medius the Pure. I know to not let that man resolve his effect. But in terms of what my opponent was playing, I was just trying my best. It is something that, especially in locals or any type of tournament, I get very in my head about what I'm doing, let alone what my opponent's doing. I think that is something that separates good from great players, is the ability to I did get some draws though off of the Droll got negated. Yeah. Oh, sorry. See, when I'm watching these back, I end up like flip-flopping on what I'm saying. First of all, I think a good versus a great player is someone who can also be mindfully thinking about what their opponent is doing, trying to make guesses about what they have in their hands, what's the best thing to stop, who also knows the deck that their opponent is playing and has read the cards and is prepared. Archmage Power Patron is a deck that I do need to read up on the cards. This was not like a crazy rogue one. But I did find it interesting. I do remember during this game, the fact that he negated the Droll. I do not think my opponent fully thought through the fact that I Fua'd. I didn't fully think through the fact that I Fua'd. I was like, this was kind of a not great play on my part to Fua and then Droll, because the Fua resolved. And so I drew into the nib off of the Fua. So this is what I'm saying. The Fua resolved. So by allowing my Droll to go through, it means that I also am not going to get any draws. And I guess my opponent figured that their own searches were worth it. Personally, I think I completely misplayed by doing the Droll after Fua. I haven't really been playing either in my main deck, specifically in Malice. I don't play Droll. I should. I think I need to take out the ghost spells and put Droll, but I really was not playing Fua, so this was a whole thing of like, okay, I made a really bad combination, but luckily my opponent negated the Droll, so I got to get a bunch of draws. I drew into the nib. I don't have a nib token. If anyone has any recommendations for where to get like cute nib tokens, or I guess I could just put like a cute Pokemon sleeve in. I want like a custom nib token, or a token like an Alphonse token. I think it'd be really, really cute. I said his name and he looked at me. He's like, what are you doing? What is a token? I think it'd be really cute to have an Alphonse token, because I did just give him like an upside down OTS pack card. He was like, I don't even get a token. I was like, I don't have a token. And I think he was joking, but I did feel kind of bad. I have a habit of doing like bad manner toxic things without even trying. Like when I will shifter someone and be like, it's the buy shifter, when I play Super Poly in an Imperm column, or I think like giving a face down card from an OTS pack as a nib token might have been seen as being a little toxic. I don't mean to. I just naturally am I guess toxic. So yeah, obviously the nib, drawing into the nib off of the Charmy, I think made a world difference, which is why if the Droll had been allowed to stick, very different situation. I ended up drawing quite a few cards. I was able to, for the most part, full combo. I did the Spenta line, the discard. I renamed his token as a Prince of Fairies. I might be a little too hard stuck on the idea of renaming things as Prince of Fairies in order to go into Teller. If you fuse into Teller using Prince of Fairies, then you blow up your opponent's board. But naming it Prince of Fairies doesn't make it a spellcaster. This will make it a spellcaster though. So that's kind of the thing of like, you have to use Magical to rename something. And then now that it's Prince of Fairies, Weaver says all Prince of Fairies are also spellcasters. So now it is prime for the fuse. Off of Weaver, I am gonna summon Snow. I didn't think there was any need to necessarily put the token face down. I don't think Snow can put Pendulum. Any Pendulum monster in the Pendulum Zone is treated as a spell. Yes, correct. I don't think I can Snow, and any of that. Oh, see, I did it. I managed to do it where I tell her. Okay, no, that's what happened. So I was like, oh, you're gonna take 500 damage for each thing that gets destroyed. And he's like, cool, on summon of the teller, chain 2 droplets in order to negate my teller. So I did manage to do it this turn, which I think it's kind of convoluted. I do really like being able to rename something Prince of Fairies and then fuse with it and then blow up their board. I think it's really strong. It just kind of takes a lot of... Gennia also makes things spellcasters. So that makes it easier because you can fuse... Well, you have to fuse with your opponent's Prince of Fairies. But I will say for Super Poly, making something a spellcaster for Super Poly, that makes it a lot better. I really love this deck. I think it's super, super fun. I did have the ball. So this is going to allow me to, again, I still have to get over one thing. So that's why I get the Snow. 4 Fairy Tales with the equip is game. So once I have the Snow, the Wiccat, the Teller, and the Weaver. Oh, their tags are halved though because of Crown. I did forget about that, as I simply just forgot about this now. But I believe it's still game. Nib going over. I think when we did the math on it, it was still going to, because it was one, oh my gosh, I have my phone in front of me. I can do the math as I'm sitting here. So it's technically just 3 1850s because the 2 1850s got negated, and then that was plus 1,000, which that's 6,550. And then Nib over Medius, I believe was game. How much attack does Medius the Pure have? Medius the Pure. I'm Googling. He is at 1,800 and Nib's at 3,000. So plus 1,200. Oh, nope. He did get another turn. I think he was left with 250. I miscalculated because I forgot that the droplets was going to have. But, I mean, looking at my board, the Wiccat is going to make the Snow unaffected. I mean, it's not the best, but it does make unaffected. The light... He does need to get rid of the ball because I'm sure he realized that as long as that's out, I can attack directly. It doesn't matter what board state you make. If I get out enough Fairytale monsters, which at this point he has like under 300 life. I do have the Teller negate. Weaver, I clogged up my zones. Not that, well, I don't think there's a way to summon anything at this point. Because not only are my zones clogged up, but what I'm saying is Weaver, when you summon a non-Earth Fairytale, you have the ability to negate and rename something. And normally you do that with Snow, and Snow's already out, and I don't think there's any other way. So at this point, it's just letting him play his turn, hoping he doesn't break my board. Even if he does break my board, I need 1 Fairytale ball. I have 2 more in deck, and Match Girl searches it. And I do have Match Girl in Banishment, and Weaver is going to allow me to summon off Banishment. And this is why I play 2 Weaver. I've seen comments. I need to show you my updated deck list. I am playing 2 Weaver. I think it's so important for the what do the Yu-Gi-Oh players call it? The crackback? Is that what we say? Basically, when I get back my turn, because Weaver on summon. Well, actually, it's not on summon. Do I need to be making another Weaver? Don't y'all love hearing me try to like figure stuff out? As I'm gonna look up Weaver real quick, but basically Weaver, it's not on summon. So I guess I only need 1 Weaver. I still really like having Weaver. Weaver of Fairy Tales. I might have literally just contradicted myself by being like, you need 2 Weavers. You might not, because Weaver has the effect that you can summon from deck or banishment. And that's a little hidden effect most people do not know. Let's see. During your main phase. Okay, well, here's why you need a second Weaver. So you technically don't need a second Weaver to do the effect, but you do need a second Weaver if it gets negated or if it gets destroyed. I do think I end up doing this the weird way because I did not realize that Weaver was not an on summon, that it's an ignition that just during your main phase. I'm pretty sure when it gets back to me, I go about this in a weird way. But point is even if they break your board, as long as you have ball and you can attack directly, I need one Fairytail. I need one Fairytail. I need one Fairytail ball. And I know exactly how I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to get it from Match Girl. So I go ahead and I didn't know my stuff. It's negated. That's why it was good to have another Weaver. I didn't know what White Woman Jump Scare did. Goddess of the Closed World. I don't love that we call her that. I think I bought her for like the OTS overframe because I think it's a gorgeous card. This is them explaining to me that they negate forever and ever and ever and ever. So this is where having a second Weaver is important, because if your Weaver gets, I know Alphonse, that's what I'm trying to tell the people, if your Weaver gets negated, you need to have a second Weaver in order to get that summon from deck or banishment. And once you get Match Girl, you can get the field spell. And once you get the field spell, especially if your opponent does not have much, then if they don't have many life points left, right? You already hit directly once. I will say for most, because Fairytail can attack directly, I've been tinkering with the idea of not going for game, like trying to think through. See here, I knew I was right. You need two Weavers. Thinking through what's the point of doing damage when you don't have lethal versus when you do. So there's a game I played against Elf Notes, Alphonse is so mad, not here, but just in like practice. Come here, stop yelling. Just like in practice where I did not have lethal and I cleared up the board. And so the Elf Note player did not have any monsters on field. I don't think it was worth it because I cleared out their middle. The monster that I attacked over was a monster in the middle monster zone. And I don't know if it would have made like particularly a game winning decision. But in that situation, attacking was not worth it, versus I think in this situation, it was worth it, because now all I needed was one Fairytail monster and one Fairytail ball, and I can go for a game. So yes, your girl won match 1 against Power Patron. I guess I would call it pure power. I need to look up the deck list. I think it was like an Art Mage Power Patron combo, which just genuinely might be Power Patron. So that was match 1. Match 2 was against Leo, which I was like so excited about because I love playing people I feel comfortable against, friends, but the people you normally play against, and sometimes when you play against them in a tournament, you start losing brain cells because you're comfortable. That's definitely what happened. There was quite a few times where Leo was like, Raina, the chain, we need to resolve the chain appropriately. What are you doing? I was like, I'm sorry, I just feel comfortable, and therefore I'm being kind of, not the most, mindful. I was not being the most mindful. I was also admittedly nervous. Leo has been playing Cool Tunes since before Cool Tunes was the big, scary boogeyman in Konami's closet. It's funny because even he says now he's very much like a non-meta person. He'll play meta, but he's not trying. He's not someone who's like, oh, I want to play the #1 best deck. Look at him looking at my hand. Oh, this was super funny because he was like, what super poly targets could you even have? And I go, I will let you know I'm not playing Theseus. I was like, I did order one. I don't have one yet. I'm not playing Theseus. He's like, oh, so I don't think you have any targets. I was like, we'll see. He didn't know about my main man, Chorizo. He's gonna learn though. So I was nervous about playing against Cool Tunes, not only because Cool Tunes has been getting this reputation. Personally, I do not think Cool Tunes is the scary, oh my goodness, like this is going to be crazy deck that people are making it out to be. Leo's been playing it forever though, so it's like playing a Cool Tune player who picked it up because it's like, oh, this is allegedly the best deck and I want to play the best deck, is very different than playing someone who literally bought boxes of, when did Cool Tunes first come out? Whatever set it first came out, he literally bought boxes to build Cool Tunes. He had it proxied, and he was replacing each proxy with the Cool Tune as he would pull it. He was on this before it was a thing. I think Clown Crew is going to be good too, because Leo really likes Clown Crew, and he just has his finger on the pulse of like what Yu-Gi-Oh is going to do. So this isn't just someone who picked up Cool Tunes for the sake of picking up Cool Tunes. Leo's been on this deck for like ever. And because of that, he's really good with it. Even not on Cool Tunes, Leo's really good. I owe, I think, a lot of my ability to grow as a player to the people that I play against. And I'm very grateful to have really good Yu-Gi-Oh players to play against. And so I was nervous. I probably should have been a little more mindful about the chain stuff, but literally I went into this and I was like, don't get too owed right now. Just don't get too owed. So I activate ball. I go ahead and I add the match girl to hand because I figure that's a special. Thank goodness the rigatoni allowed me to, like, he didn't stop the rigatoni, so that way I could do another Vad and a Genni, and then those two are going to go ahead and get banished. I don't know if that first Vad should have been banished. Oh no, I think he banished off one of his things because he knew I could copy it. And then I go into Zorora, and I'm basically trying to do Nib protection combo because I realized Nib protection combo also is just just you get a negate. You get, if you can get to the 5 summons to get your negate online, it's going to be a lot better for you. Something about Cool Tunes, it's the same thing with Elf Notes. This is why I'm saying, oh, hold on. He's like, what do you have? Chorizo. He picks it up and he's like, oh my gosh, you're right. Something that Elf Notes and Cool Tunes have in common, which I understand that the looking at someone's hand in Cool Tunes is part of why people get so like, oh my gosh, it's such a good deck and it's a terrible deck at the same time and we hate it and we love it. But Elf Notes also has level modulation, which Cool Tunes does, meaning in the Strelitzia, you lower levels. In Cool Tune, he is using the Synchros to raise levels. If you play any type of XZ's deck, I haven't read Doom Z. I am not entirely sure if there's a way that Doom Z can get around it. But I know for Fairytail, it's like 2 level 4 spellcasters. So if I no longer have level 4 spellcasters, it makes it exceptionally hard. And this is why, here's my plug about running more Magistus. I've seen the deck lists that are very heavy Fairytail, very small Magistus. I think having the more Magistus engine in extra deck and having ways to pivot, because once your stuff gets modulated, like, yes, if you can get into fusions, that's fine. But normally to get into fusions, you need to have the Wiccat send for the fusion spell, or you need to have the match girl to get the fusion. And sometimes, like, you can't make Wiccat if your levels are all jacked up. And that's what ends up happening to me in the other games. So spoiler alert, we do go to game 3 on this one. And luckily in game 1, I was not level modulated out of being able to make Wiccat. But if you're going to get level modulated out, then having Crowley, having other alternative ways, I think is important, because Elf Note does it too. That's the other thing too, is Elf Note also has a hand rip. Like, I get the extra deck rip can feel icky, but you still have 14 other cards you can play with, versus the Tinia during draw, quick effect to switch to the middle and banish a random card in your hand till end phase. Like, yeah, it's only till end phase, but if you only have, like, let's say you used a hand trap, so now into your draw you're at 5, you're down to 4. And the randomness of it, like, yes, sometimes it'll hit something where you're like, okay, that didn't really matter, as much, but sometimes it hits something and it's miserable. So I don't know. I think Elf Note and Cool Tune have a lot of the same, he's going to take 500 burn damage. I managed to do it again. I did it in 2 matches where I managed to rename something Prince of Fairies and fuse with it. I do think Elf Note and Cool Tune have a lot of similarities. I think where Cool Tune gets the bad or good rep, it depends how you feel about it, is because you get to look at your opponent's hand. And I am a firm believer that looking at your opponent's hand has no advantage unless you are a very, very good Yu-Gi-Oh player. I could have looked at the Power Patron Art Mage hand and whoa, good with that. I don't know what the cards do. And I think your average Yu-Gi-Oh player, unless you're like studying up to go like to regionals, or unless you are really keeping up with like all of the decks, you're not gonna know what they do. Like, it really is like Leo looking at my hand matters because he knows what things do. But even then, he didn't know about Chorizo. He didn't know that I was gonna, like, he saw the super poly. It didn't mean he knew. He assumed it was just Thasius. Like, there's still information that they might not have. So I personally do not think Cool Tune is going, I didn't play during Tearlaments or Snake Eyes, or even during whatever, it was Malice, and there was another one that was really Ryziel. I've heard stories of those formats, specifically like in Tearlaments, where it would be so many mirror matches. I don't think we're in a format where it's going to be 85% cool tunes and all top 4 are cool tune and everyone's showing up with cool tune. I really think we're in a varied enough format that decks like Fairytail Magistus do work. So I do end up winning game 1. He's like, you know what? You basically got rid of everything I have and attacked for a bunch of damage. So let's go ahead. And I had Snow in Grave. And so we end up going to game 2, and I get jacked up in game 2. So at the end of game 1, Leo did summon a Q, I believe, and then I like negate it, and he realizes that like to play through the board and for the sake of time, we're just gonna go to game 2. We go to game 2. I love the color combination. I have my pink with pink. He's green with green. I just feel like this is a very aesthetic board. Anyway, so we go game 2. He is going to go first. Again, I actually did pretty well for losing the dice roll now that I'm thinking about it. So gonna go ahead and he summons Q. I have a slight idea what cool tune stuff does. It is on my list of studying up what a lot of the other decks do, because I admittedly have not put in the time or effort to truly learn about what they do. But he pretty quickly goes into the Banish top or bottom deck, which I believe is part of the Synchro maybe, and then the Hand Peak. I should have known that he knew about Nib. So if he plays into Nib, he must have a silly secret little reason. I just wanted to Nib. Like, he saw the Nib, so he had to know that on summon 5 I was gonna Nib. Spoiler alert, I do Nib. It does nothing. It was definitely something that he planned for, and this is where I'm saying, like, you have to be a really good player to be able to plan for, like, I'm actually going to play into it. You know, I think a lot of players see a Nib and they're like, I'll just stay under 5. But a good player, a great player, someone who's like, how can I make that benefit me? How can I make her use that card now at the less beneficial time, I guess, right? Because I actually don't know if I'd held the Nib till summon 6. I think no matter what, his end board was probably going to be fine even if I didn't Nib. But I do, and I even asked, I'm like, was that summon 5? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to Nib. And he's like, okay, cool, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff to make that not have been worth your time. So, lesson learned, I think, especially playing against cool tune players who look at your hand and giving them the benefit of the doubt that there must be something that they are able to do. So he ends up negating the Nib. No Nib for me. And then pass. Cool tune does not end on a crazy board. I think it's a very, I've heard it's like a mid-range style deck that it's just gonna do a lot of interruptions or do things on your turn, which I did see firsthand. I get hard stuck on doing something that I think would be really cool to pull off, and my brain does not fully think through, like, hey, is this the thing that you actually want to do? Or is this something, like, is this the best play, the most optimal play? Or is this the, it would be cool? So my brain gets hard stuck on doing it. At this point, I don't know what I'm asking him. I will also say my rate of play goes to absolute trash when I'm playing against people I feel comfortable with, which I'm sorry, I really shouldn't do that. It's not very fair to any of them. I normal Genni, which is probably an indicator that my hand is not the best. And I tribute Genni and Tails in order to special Magistus. Now, I don't think this was the worst play because now I have the fusion spell in Grave to equip from Grave, but I could have also just equipped it from, why didn't I just equip it from hand? And then I do Rigatoni and I search Vid. I definitely think I got in my head and did not. Well, hindsight's 20/20. When you're actually playing a game and it's timed, there's definitely a different feeling of like, ugh. So I think I could have just normaled Genni and attached the equip spell. The first time you attach the equip spell, it does not have to fuse with it does not have to attach to a Fairytail monster, but if you attach it from grave, it has to go to a Fairytail monster. So looking back, this was just a bad play because I don't know how I guess I'm planning on getting into Wiccat and being able to attach from grave. But it would have just been a lot better because you can also fuse from hand with Tales of the Fairy Tales. So I banished the genni, banished the Ved in order to copy. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure my plan was just to get into Wiccat and equip the Tales. Also, equip spells you can equip to your opponent's monsters. I haven't fully thought through that one with Tales of the Fairy Tales. You don't get it back. I mean, it'll go into your graveyard if you, like, kill the monster. But, like, I'm not sure if there's a validity to attaching it to an opponent's monster. But personally, watching this back, I think I definitely could have made a different decision. My hand was just something that I was not used to. And it did not. I made a choice that I thought was cool. I thought sending tributing genni to get the special and you have to send a spell was definitely not. Oh, he sees the super poly. And the match girl, and he's like, those are both terrifying. One positive thing, again, a lot of people don't realize Weaver summons from banishment. So if they banish any of your Fairytail monsters, it's actually not that bad. I am going to overlay. If I remember correctly, I don't think I overlay into Wiccat because I, again, it's in a silly, goofy mood and trying to, like, do something else. Let me see. If I was smart, I overlaid into Wiccat. If I was trying to just be a little funny person, I overlaid into Ninaruru. Okay, I'm going to do Zorora effect to equip. I believe I equipped the Artemis to the Rigatoni, because that's normally how I do this. I mean, this basically turned into Spenta combo with the genni. Oh, yeah. Here's where I was in a silly, goofy mood. I think I went into Big Rig, and shout out to Nick who let me borrow it. And I was so excited to finally have a copy because my copy still hasn't come in the mail. And he let me borrow it, and it has such a cool effect because I was going to be able to, I believe when it's an equip spell, you can pop a spell trap, and you can't see Leo's backboard. See, I'm like, just read it before you ruin my day. Just read it. I was so cool. Look what I was going to do. It was so cool. And he's like, whoa, 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 right now. You don't know how to be popping off like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, you ruined it. Okay, here we're doing the extra deck rip. I thought I had a pretty, look how pretty my cards are. I thought I had a pretty good plan for this because we did it by rows first. So we picked which row. So it's going to come out of row 2. And then it was going to be card 2. Got rid of Omega. That honestly was not that big of a deal. That's what I'm saying too. Like there is still some randomness and some more. Match girl to search. And at this point, I still have the fusion and grave. I'm sure he's just like, slow down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, it's chains. This is where he was like, right now the chain, because Match Girl did have an on summon. But I got so hard stuck on the idea of doing the cool thing with Big Rigatoni that I kind of started playing not great. So I end up attaching to Match Girl. I don't remember if I got my search or not. I don't think I did. I think there's something. If I did, I'm sure I got Ball, which I should have activated. If I have Ball in hand and I did not activate it first to get Luda, so when I equip my normal summon, I just really lost my mind over thinking that Big Rigatoni play was going to be so cool. And it's not. Oh, too, I think, am I level modulated? I think I might be level modulated, which is why I'm not going into Wiccat. I'm pretty sure my Zorora and my Rigatoni, and even now my Match Girl, are not actually level 4 spellcasters. And I'm looking, and I'm like, well, what can I do? If there was endless time, I'm sure I could have figured it out. That's the other thing of playing in a timed situation. Watching this game back, I definitely should have made better choices. This was not a game that I lose due to my own, like, I played the very best I could. I did some dumb stuff. Like, I think the sending the equip spell to grave off of the genni instead of just normal summoning something else. I end up getting in my head, I think I could have continued to play, but for the sake of time, I think at this point we had like 12 minutes left, and I was like, let's just go to game 3 because I've already made enough mistakes that I don't know if I can salvage this in a timely manner. So we end up going to game 3. Oh my gosh, y'all. I totally forgot to say something about game 2, mainly because the way I filmed this, you can't see my opponent's spell trap zone. He had a prohibition. That's why I was so dead set on the big Rigatoni, because I had a dead Spenta in hand. And if I could get rid of that prohibition by popping it with the big Rigatoni, but I got hard set on being like, I want to have access to my Spenta. I want to have access to my Spenta. It was not worth it. Totally not worth it. But yeah, I got to learn what Prohibition did, which was, wonderful. Oh, he Harmonia'd. What? Honest, looking back at this, Leo was like, I'm a Harmonia. Do you want to see what monsters I'm going to send? Because all of my extra deck is synchros. And that's where he fanned them out. And I was like, sir, really? I go, don't you have to send one? Yeah, let me know which one you're going to send. We're going to follow the rules. Anyway, I got prohibited game 2. And that's where the big Rigatoni came in. That's what I'm saying. Even uploading these games like unedited, I don't know if it's the best because like you can't see his spell trap zone like the way I filmed this. Apologies. Just setting it up the way it did, it was kind of weird. Yeah, so Prohibition was a weird one to learn about. Leo used to play Psychics and he was like, oh, it's like when I played Psychics. I'm like, all you're telling me is that you do this regularly. Like you regularly make it difficult for a girl to just be able to play the game. Oh, I did get to genni make his Harmonia spellcaster to special it, which that was pretty cool. So Prohibition says basically it's a dead card. Like the only thing you can use the card that is named is for cost. So you can't normal it, you can't special it, you can't fuse with it, you can't overlay with it, the only thing is if it's already on the field. So if I already had a Spenta, well, I think you still can't use it as materials. Actually, I don't know about that. If I already had a Spenta on the field, can someone tell me, could I have overlaid, could I have used it for material for Xyz or for a material for fusion? Because I think Prohibition says that if the card was already on the field. Anyway, he knew I had a Spenta in hand. The hand peak mixed with the Spenta. Oh, this was dumb. This was dumb too. Why did I equip his Harmonia? I just wanted to be a little butthole. I just wanted to take the card. Because if I had equipped another Magistus monster, I could have sent the other Magistus monster to negate and then still had a monster on field so I didn't die. That's what I'm saying. I definitely was not in the most serious mindset. I don't regret it. It's a relief to get to play against friends. And I do think playing against friends is the time to be like, I'm just going to mess around and do stuff. Watching back, if anything, I feel relief knowing that like, oh, I did not make the best decisions. This definitely was a winnable match. This was not that like I was a bad player. This was literally just that I was like comfortable and wanted to mess around and do things. And I feel like locals are the best place to do that. Locals too, when you get paired up. I think it's so funny because when I tell you, we drive an hour like to these locals. And I always say it so round 1, none of us got paired against each other. Deontay, me, Leo, that's the squad that we drive, we go. None of us got paired up against each other round 1, which yay. It never fails though. And this locals had 12 people in it. So it's not like there was like, oh, we're going to have to play against each other because it's small. We were at 12 people. Never fails that one of us gets paired up against the other one. We drive an hour just to play against the same people we always play against. So as soon as I saw that it was me and Leo, and I had a feeling because all 3 of us won our first rounds, and I was like, okay, I have a feeling I'm going to have to play against someone that I could have just stayed home to play against. But I also at the same time, there's a relief to it. And I haven't really played against Leo that much lately. So I really did need practice against Cool Tunes, and I was really happy that I didn't get 2-0'd. And watching this back, I'm also pretty happy that I was able to, normal Fua attack for game. I was happy that I didn't get 2-0'd and I was able to put up some sort of a fight against Cool Tunes. And I definitely think if I had been smarter about it, it was a winnable match. But yeah, so I ended up losing match 2 to Cool Tunes. Match 3, I played against a Doom Z player. They're playing Doom Z Bamboo Sword. I don't really know what either of them do. Honestly, what this locals really made me realize is I want to learn what other decks do. I want to read through the cards. I want to be more knowledgeable about what I'm playing against. I think I get comfortable, I know I get comfortable playing against the same decks with the same people, and they explain things to me, and then I feel comfortable, and then I go to a locals. And I think that's for as anxiety inducing as locals are, because they give me a lot of anxiety. The perk is you get to play against different things. I got to play against Power Patron Archmage. I got to play against Cool Tunes, even though I can play against Leo. I just probably need to message Leo and be like, can I get practice against Cool Tunes? I haven't played against him, really. Just the way that our locals in town have been, or just in general, I can be kind of a homebody and not showing up just for casual play, because I'm like, I don't want to leave my house. So I really haven't played against Cool Tunes that much, so that was really great that we got matched up against each other. And then getting to play against this Doomsy bamboo sword was also, it's very good. So the way that this locals was going to work is that it could go to round 4, but basically the guy running it said if we have anyone undefeated at the end of round 3, we're probably just going to cut it. It meant that tiebreakers were super weird. I got 3rd because I went X1. I believe that's how we say it. 2-1, right? But a lot of people did. So it just completely went down to tiebreakers. My opponent this turn also loves Karibo. They've shown me their Karibo deck, and that's why I don't know if you can see it because there's a glare, but I changed out my field center to be Karibo to match their playmat. I was using was it Freerin? I could look back. I'm not going to. I was using not Karibo. I know that much up until this point, and then I brought out the Karibo one in order to matchies. I ended up buying one of those Karibo deck boxes I showed you at the beginning. You'll see it again at the end where I go back vlog style instead of, documentary style narration. Next time I go to this locals, I do plan on going again. I think it was really chill. I was a big fan of the vibes there. And they had Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the case. You know how hard it is to find a place with Yu-Gi-Oh cards in a case? Oh my gosh. The amount of trades that we could do too with people there, it was really great. I do want to figure out how to set up the camera better so that way the games you can actually fully see the spell trap zone of my opponent. My apologies again for that. So they didn't have any interaction. I pretty much full combo. They are playing into Fairytail Ball, which is if your opponent special summons, you can negate and rename. They're playing into Zerora. Oh, this is literally me explaining it to them as well. That by sending a Magistus monster, it is a monster negate and then destroy one card. Does not have to be the card that was negated. And then Teller is an Omni negate. Weaver, if I get that Snow, because it is a non-Earth fairy tale out of grave. Whenever a non-Earth fairy tale is summoned, then you can negate and rename. And she's not a hard once per turn. I have not really thought through lines or thought about how to do that more often. But I do think it's worth. I honestly think, now that I'm saying that, I think when I'm going second, trying to prioritize Weaver, because then if I normal or special any other fairy tale, then I can negate, start chipping away at what their board does. That might be the way to do it, because not only do you start negating, she's not a hard once per turn negate, so every time you special summon, what are my choices? Well, Match Girl, I think they're all light, but it doesn't have to be different. So if I normal Luna off of just regular normal or off of the equip spell, that's a negate. Normal or special Match Girl, that's a negate. Normal special Snow, I could do 3 negates. Pretty sure Teller and Weaver are the same. I think they're both Earth, so that wouldn't trigger it, but I think I should probably start prioritizing that. Going second is just trying to get into Weaver and then just start negating, and then if I get enough bodies out and Ball on board, just go for game. So again, I wish I had some insightful things to say about what my opponents are doing, but I need to learn what they're doing. I am trying to have a Doomsy deck at home and an Archmage, I think more Archmage than Power Patron deck at home to practice against. Having a Cool Tunes deck just for funsies and to practice against is a little too expensive right now, but I do want to learn more about what things are doing in the format. So at this point, I have game on board. I can attack directly. I managed to just kind of stop. Oh, I totally forgot to cut his deck. I realized that, the social anxiety part of me, I did realize that after I was full comboing, and then I see them reach for their deck, and I was like, I'm sorry. Actually, I didn't say sorry. I'm saying sorry now. I'm sorry I didn't cut your deck. And I totally like missed it. I just got super stoked on, I guess, overkill. This was overkill. This was a lot of monsters. I'm like, back for game. So I won game 1. I really think that in this matchup where I hand trapped and just the style of deck, like it wasn't a traditional Doomsday deck, so I did think it needed me to not hit certain things that I did, because then my boyfriend built Doomsday and we were practicing and I was like, oh my gosh. So I think this deck has a lot of potential. I just think in these matchups I have the answer to it, and then also because it's like a variant one, I hit it in places where it could not fully recover. So we go to game 2. Game 2, I am going second, and unfortunately for my opponent, I know Medius the Pure isn't pure. I know enough to be like, I'm not letting that go through. I also know enough that if you get to send something to the graveyard, you do not want Medius in the graveyard. You're better off leaving him on the field, not having gone to do the search, and then send him to the graveyard. So I do go ahead and I ash that. Also, I need to do an updated deck profile, because I don't know if you noticed the shiny upgrades as you've been watching this. If you saw, I actually don't know if I ever showed you the actual cards. I think you saw some of them in my Spenta 1 card combo, but the actual deck list I think I did on Dueling Book. But basically, I have since gotten some upgrades that I want to show you. I do love playing with a shiny deck. I do love investing in a deck that I'm going to be spending a lot of time with. My Malice deck is almost full rarity. I still have some things I need to get for it, but I like it. I don't know. I work an adult job to get adult money in order to spend it on shiny cardboard. I do end up drooling, so that way no more adding can be done. And like I was saying with game 1, I just really think that this version of the deck that my opponent was playing, I had the answers to it in order to out or stop things from being too impactful. So I had to remind, I was like, well, with droll, unless it's placing, like, yeah, no searching. And they were like, oh, yeah, you're right, no searching. So I think this is what they ended on. Again, I can't see the spell trap zone because I filmed this in a terrible position due to just the lack of having a good way to set up my camera. I will be better about that, or at least I'll try to be, but you gotta make do with what you have. Also, huge shout out to my opponents for being okay with me filming. It was something that, like I said at the beginning, when I was there, I was kind of nervous to walk in and be like, hey, I'm new, I'm gonna film stuff. Everyone was really kind. Everyone was really, helpful. A lot of trades, a lot of conversations. Like, I don't know, I think sometimes you go to locals and the vibe can be super serious and super like sweaty, and the vibe here was very much like, yeah, we want to do our best and you want to win and you want to take the game seriously, but I did not get this feeling of like sweat or that I was going to be making anybody super upset by doing anything. So Jania, I target to make a spellcaster, so that way I can special summon her, activate ball. I believe I search match girl because then I can special. Oh, okay, this is what happened. The activation got, an important note, little learning experience. So the activation of ball got negated, and because it says you can only activate and not use, if the activation of ball gets negated, you can activate a second one in that turn. If it had said you can only use the effect of ball each turn, then you can't, because using even sees the attempt to use activation. You are able to activate another one. So I am able to go into Wiccat. I am able to go ahead and get my match girl. This is going to allow me to search another ball because I already had ball in hand from the beginning. And because the activation got negated, I am able to activate another one, which is very important because all I need is 4 monsters and that equip spell in order to go for game when you have ball on board. I do think I messed up again in terms of I need to remember to activate ball before re-equipping, because ball can get you Luna, and then the re-equip lets you do an additional normal summon. And I am pretty sure here I activated ball, searched, I had instant fusion. Yeah, I think I either like didn't search Luna or there was something we're getting it back at that point. So I instant fusion into Weaver. This is game. At this point, for Fairytail, attach. I don't need the additional normal summon because I had the instant fusion. And this was game. So I I think I go for game here. Girl, you have game on board. I don't know, I might have done something silly, but I do know that I win game 2 of match 3. So at this point, I won match 1, I won match 3, and I went to game 3 in match 2. And watching it back, I definitely think it's something that I could have won had I just been a little more mindful. So yeah, thanks for listening to Future Me give you a little play-by-play of the games and my thoughts and remembrances and mistakes. And I always like watching these back too. I think it's very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and let Past Me continue it because I did film a couple more little vlog style things for the rest of the day. Was super fun. Hope you enjoy these locals videos. And yeah, let's kick it back to the past and see what past Raina had to say about the day. Okay, just finished round 3 at Locals, a new to me Locals. I've never been to this one. Vibes immaculate, love it. Wanted to film this so I could try to like give my thoughts instead of doing it later. Match 1 in 2 games. I think he was playing like an art mage Doomsy. I'm gonna have to look at the footage. Oh, by the way, I apologize in advance. I don't think the footage is very good because I had to clip the thing to a chair. I'll take a video of how I had to set that up in there. I don't think the games turned out very good on camera, but I did film them. I do want to talk through them because I really love Fairytail Magistus. I think it's doing really, really well. I think it's benefiting from people not knowing what it does, but I think in general it's just a really good deck. So I won game 1. Match 1, and then match 2 was against Leo, who's on Cool Tunes, and Leo's been playing Cool Tunes forever. Not gonna lie, I thought I was about to get 2-0'd because also that's just what he does. He's really, really good. But I won game 1, and then he prohibited my Spenta game 2, and then game 3, I did get a turn. Like I got to have a second turn in game 3, and I drew into a Fua. So what are you gonna do about that? And then match 3 was against a Doom Z, and I won that in 2 games too. So far I'm 2-1, X1, is that how we say it? X1, I think I'm X1, and I think there's gonna be a 4th round, maybe, I'm not, there's enough of us to do a 4th round, but I think the guy running it said that depending on how many people are like undefeated by the end. But yeah, really loving the deck. I think it's such a strong end board, and I will say, game 1 of match 1, I believe I normaled Match Girl and it got impermed, and I was like, I need to think through how to play through more hand traps, but so far, it's been doing well, having fun. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how I have it set up in there so that way you can see why the footage is probably not great, but doing good. We're doing good. I'm actually doing good on a new deck. I've only played this deck against Up Note, so, you know, yay. Okay. Back home, I need to show you something that was purchased. Got one. Got a Karibo box. Totally worth it. Yeah, I got 3rd place. It could have been 4 rounds. There's enough people to be 4 rounds, but they cut it because there was one person undefeated. So yeah, it was super, super fun. Again, got 3rd place. Went X1. Is that what we say? Because I won 2. I lost 1. Got the Karibo bag. Yeah, big happy with my deck, and yeah, hopefully this inspires more people to play Fairytail Magistus. It's really, 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 really fun. And okay,